TGIFF, no typo. I was doing some Moscow Mules with the man Myth and Kid Doc a couple weeks ago in honor of the great mule mugs he gave me. So I had a little ginger beer in the bar cabinet over there, but I'm doing Kentucky bourbon with ginger beer, a little bit of bitters. Very nice for a Friday night. But you'll be seeing this on Sunday or thereafter. Big weekend. Got some guests coming tomorrow. I'm going to make Sean Brock's crust burgers. I'm pumped. I saw it on an IG reel and it just looked delectable. Tonight I'm doing another IG reel that Laura sent me. This great eggplant dish. It's like an eggplant palm, but I love the way this girl cooked it and I loved her Brooklyn accent. But you're not going to see any of that food. I have so much to do this weekend that this is going to be a quickie, but very, very imperative. Come over to the board with me. I want to show you. This has to be done tonight or this weekend at the very latest. Let's do it. Come on, let's do it. So here we are. It's November already. November 1st as I shoot this. These are the figs that were left on the tree. I have two fig trees, one in a pot, one in the ground. The one in the ground took several years to get developed, and the one in the pot was giving me beautiful figs for several years in a row. This year, the one in the ground just blossomed and flourished and just started throwing out ripe figs left and right. Big ripe figs. These are not big because what these are the end of the season little guys that don't get ripe. You know, we're in zone 6 here. Really, figs want a longer, warmer climate. But I found out last year, these don't have to go to waste. And actually, they've been sitting on the counter now for almost a week. The tree is completely devoid of leaves at this point in time, and I pulled all the fruit. And it softened up a little over the week, but these will not be fully ripe figs. So what we're going to do is we're going to preserve them. I did this last year, and they were smaller and harder like this one, and it was delicious. So I think the stage they're at now, some of these are actually pretty soft. I think they're going to make beautiful fig preserves. So I'll start. I want to take all the stems off and then meet me over at the stove. Okay, I've got some water coming to a boil here. Here's those figs. I cut the tops off and look, you see that little white milky liquid? The idea is we want to get rid of most of that because these are unripe. They haven't developed sugars yet. So we want to cook out all that bitterness and tartness. So we're going to put them in this boiling water. I'll get that guy, but the stove's on. Let me use some tongs here. And we're going to cook these, boil them down for 10 minutes. So I will put the timer on for 10. And I'll see you all back here. All right, 10 minutes is up. What I'm going to do now, I'm not even going to turn the flame off. I'm going to drain this water, cover them with new water, and back on for another 10. Okay, I drained them. Fresh water, back on. And let them come to the boil. And once that boils up, another 10 minutes. We're trying to cook all that green out of them. And then we'll do some sugar water, cook them down into a nice preserve. 10 more minutes. See you in a few. All right, so we boiled the figs twice, 10 minutes each time, a total of 20. And then what you want to do is take them out. I let them cool. And you want to give them a little squeeze. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on camera. But you see the juice is nice and clear. And that's probably because I had them on the counter all week. If that juice was still milky white, we'd want to put them back on and boil them more. You want to get that milkiness out of them. But now that it's clear, they're nice and plump. They're all soft from being boiled. Now we're going to make our preservation juice. Back to the stove. Okay, on the stove here I've got some water coming to a boil. Now, generally what you do is I had weighed my figs in the beginning, and you use the same weight of water coming to a boil and the same weight of sugar. However, I'm improvising a little here because I happen to have, not something that's a staple in my house, but I happen to have some dark corn syrup here because I made a pecan pie for my dad on Man Myth weekend. So I cut the sugar back a little weight-wise, and I'm just going to add a touch of the dark corn syrup to give it like a molasses-y kind of flavor. Now we just want to dissolve the sugar. On the back burner here, I've got another pot with the jar coming to a boil, simmer, sterilizing it. This won't be canned, but these things don't last long, trust me. They'll be in the fridge for about a week or two at the most before they get totally devoured. Did this last year with the smaller, harder figs. I couldn't get enough of them. Okay, we're letting the sugar dissolve. Let's do a QC on this. Yeah, the corn syrup is a nice addition, and I only put a few drops. Okay. Sugar's dissolved, should be at a full boil soon. Let's put the figs in. So I'm going to set the timer here for 25 minutes. We want to boil this. And at this point, I'm going to add a little bit of spices. You don't have to add them now. You can put them in the jar when you put them in. But I'm going to put them in. I got a little bit of cinnamon here. They're just kind of shavings from cinnamon sticks. I don't have a whole stick. I'll put a few cloves. Just a couple. These are powerful. Just one, that was almost a half. 2, 3 cloves should be enough. And I have some star anise, anise, anise. Let's just put one of those. Again, another pungent herb. Just get one nice one. I love it though. In she goes. And we're just going to let this cook for about 25 minutes. I'll see you then. 25 minutes is up, and at this point we're going to add some lemon juice. This is key. You want this acid in the jar. I'll add a little more. I'm kind of winging it, but I did my measurements. And now, once the lemon juice is in, we're just going to boil another 5 minutes. So, I think I can get my jar out from the sterilized water. QC. Oh, yes. Alright, let's turn this water off. Get the jar ready. It's nice and hot, so we don't have to worry too much about putting the hot figs inside it. And I have a cap and a lid, also sterilized. Okay, that was a good 5 minutes. The lemon juice, let's turn the heat off. We've got our sterilized jar here. And let's take these figs. Put the star anise, everything in the jar, spices, the whole bit. Cinnamon. A couple of cloves I see going in there. Okay, and now let's get the rest of this juice over the top. We want to cover them. So I'm going to push them down. Syrup. Come right up over the top. Okay, let's push them down. Get them all submerged in that beautiful syrup. And trust me when I say beautiful, I've been tasting it along the way. And now, while it's hot, we want to cover it, because what's going to happen is it will vacuum seal itself if we get this on while it's hot. Steam will seep out and it'll create a vacuum. If I can get the top on right, this jar is hot. There we go. Tighten her up, but not a full tight, because I want the air to seep out. And that's our preserved figs. This jar is hot, but I am going to let it sit on the counter until this top pops. I'll hear it go, right? When it vacuum seals, and then it's going to go in the fridge. And it's getting late here, 11:30 p.m. So let's reconvene tomorrow, Saturday, and I'll show you something, just one of many things you can do with these preserved figs. We'll go take a look at the tree too. It was dark when I got home. So I'll see you on Saturday. Saturday, just about noon. And I have not eaten a thing. 2 cups of coffee. But we're going to take care of that momentarily. This is the fig tree that I was talking about last night. And yes, I did sleep in the same shirt. Sue me. This was a gift from the late, great Mary D. I didn't see that one coming. Rest in peace, Mary D. We had a lot of fun back in the day. But, okay, so all the leaves are off, you can see. I grabbed all the figs, a couple little stragglers. There's deer poop all around it. They were helping themselves. I'm happy to share as long as I get my fill. But soon in the next few weeks, last weekend I fed it in-ground stakes and I mulched it with all these wood chips. So it's pretty much ready for winter. In the next 2 weeks or so, I'll tie it all up together like this. You got to pull them all in. I'll get some heavy rope. Then I fence it. All dried leaves that I rake up. And just protect it for winter. Burlap all the way around. It's a big job, but so worth it. So that's it. Let's head back into the kitchen and see how those figs did overnight. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's do it. Here we go. Here's those figs from last night. Oh yeah. Okay, so there's endless amounts of things you can do with these. They're actually fantastic with a prosciutto, or parma ham, goat cheese. You can do savory things like that. I'm actually thinking I might take a few. I looked up a recipe. I loved fig Newtons when I was a kid. I might make some homemade fig Newtons, but I don't know if I have enough here. Maybe that's on the agenda for next year. What I'm going to do right now, I told you I haven't eaten. 12:15. I guess it's too late for breakfast. It's kind of brunch. I'm about to have the best, worst brunch a person can have. Meet me over at the Marble. Banana split for my baby, and a glass of plain water for me. Banana split for my baby, and a glass of plain water for me. In this case, the banana split is not for my baby, it's for me. A nice organic banana here. These things are fantastic with ice cream. Some Haagen-Dazs butter pecan. Usually I would go for vanilla for this, but it kind of jumped out of the case at me. And I'm a little disappointed in Haagen-Dazs because we used to love it back in the day, art school days. And they removed the line from the container, which even all these years later, though, I memorized. It's no longer on here. I don't know why they took it off. And it went like this. Please temper to a soft consistency to achieve the full flavor bouquet. Now, I could have tempered this a little longer, but it's getting too late in the day. I told you folks I have guests coming. I got to get this place cleaned up. I spent most of the morning outside, mulching, raking. Okay, I don't want to go crazy with ice cream. Yes, I do. Here we go. Banana, organic banana, butter pecan. Let's take a couple of our figs. Should probably cut them in half so we can see what the inside looks like. Nice and preserved. Let's do a QC here. Come on. Forget cutting them. It takes too long. That ought to do. Couple walnuts maybe. Whipped cream would be nice. I have no cream in the house. But I do have these little semi-sweet chocolate nibs. Okay, and let's just get a little syrup on top. I don't want to steal too much because it has to cover the figs. Oh, we dropped another fig on. What a bummer. That was a clove. I don't want to eat a whole hard clove. Okay, here's my breakfast, or I dare say brunch. Little butter pecan banana split. Of course, the first bite has got to have fig on it. Little banana, ice cream, I got everything. Walnut, a couple chocolate nibs. Get out of here, man. This ain't right. This is just wrong. I mean that in a good way. These figs, preserved like this, there's no better way to keep that end of the year harvest because they're not going to get ripe. It's too late in the season. Not enough light, days are too short, it's getting too cold. So you get them all off the tree, you pull this off, and you're good to go. I will see you for the next episode. Come on, let's do it.